My hair used to have a mind of its own. Now it has a memory too. That's what my friend Carol said to me last week over tea. She's 67, stylish in that quietly confident way, and absolutely convinced that her hair can predict the weather. But what really surprised me was what came next. She said, "You know, the best thing I did after 60 was go shorter. Not drastic, just enough to feel lighter, and maybe 5 years younger." I hear this more often than you'd think. For so many women over 60, cutting your hair short isn't about giving up or settling down. It's about letting go of what no longer flatters and discovering short haircuts that take years off without trying too hard. Because here's the truth, long hair can sometimes drag your face down. It hides your features when in fact, this stage of life is about lifting them up. That's where the right age-defying look comes in. And no, it doesn't mean going super short or high maintenance. So in today's video, we're going to walk through 5 of the most youthful haircuts for women over 60. Styles that bring softness, light, and just the right amount of lift back to your look. Each one has been a favorite among stylists and real women who've said, "That was the haircut that changed how I felt about my reflection." If that sounds like something you're ready for, grab a cup of tea, settle in, and let's talk hair. Oh, and if you're new here, welcome to Glow After 60. We talk beauty, confidence, and style that actually fits this season of life. Let's start with a classic, the soft layered bob. Now this cut may sound familiar, but when done right, it's anything but boring. It's gentle, it's effortless, and for women over 60, it's one of the most age-defying haircuts you can try without making a dramatic leap. I remember one client, Nancy, she's 68, and used to wear her hair in a shoulder-length cut for, maybe 20 years. She told me she liked the way it framed her face, but what she didn't realize was, it was also dragging her down, literally. Her stylist suggested a layered bob, not too short, just at the jawline, with subtle layers around the cheeks. And you know what Nancy said the moment she looked in the mirror? "I didn't think it would make this much of a difference, but I look awake, lifted, like I just came back from a really good vacation." That's the magic of a soft lowered bob for women over 60. It doesn't scream, "I've got a new haircut." It whispers grace. The layers add gentle volume right where we need it, around the crown and cheekbones. It works beautifully if your hair's starting to thin or feels a bit flat. And when the ends are softened instead of blunt, it brings this natural curve that makes your features feel lifted, not weighed down. One tip from stylists, ask for face framing layers that stop just above the jawline. That's the sweet spot. It opens up the face without exposing too much. And for a bonus youthful boost, pairing it with a side part can make the whole look even softer. Honestly, I've yet to meet a woman who tried this cut and didn't say, "Why didn't I do this sooner?" Style 2, the textured pixie with volume. If you've ever said, "I could never pull off a pixie," I hear you. But stay with me for a moment, because this isn't the cropped cut from your 20s. The textured pixie cut for women over 60 has evolved. It's not about going ultra short just for convenience. It's about strategic softness and lift. Done right, it brings out your cheekbones, makes your eyes pop, and adds height right where you want it, especially if your crown area has started to flatten a bit, as it tends to do after 60. One woman I met at a community art class, her name's Joni, she's 72, had the most charming sparkle in her eyes, but her hair was always swept back in a clip, kind of, hiding her face. One day she came in with a choppy pixie, full of soft texture and airy layers. It had this little swoop at the front and volume at the top, and I kid you not, everyone in the room did a double take. She said, "I wanted something that felt light, like a breeze around my face. And I didn't expect it to change how I walk into a room, but it did." That's the power of a textured pixie cut over 60. It says, confident, but not trying too hard. And here's the trick. Volume at the crown, with feathered pieces along the sides. That's what gives it movement and femininity. No stiff spikes, no harsh lines. Stylist tip? Ask your hairdresser to use a razor or point cutting technique for softness. And if you're worried about it looking too boyish, go for longer sideburns or a side-swept fringe. That balances it out and brings in a graceful feel. Plus, and this might be my favorite part, it takes minutes to style in the morning. A dab of texturizing cream, a quick tousle, and you're out the door looking fresh. Because after 60, you're not chasing trends. We're choosing short haircuts that take years off while still feeling like you. Style 3. The jaw-length French bob. Ah, the French bob. It's one of those styles that whispers elegance, not in a loud or flashy way, but in that quiet, effortless manner that says, I know who I am. This jaw-length version of the French bob is especially lovely for women over 60, because it brings structure back to the face without adding harshness. The ends sit right at the jawline, giving gentle definition, like a subtle lift without ever stepping foot in a clinic. I remember my neighbor, Elaine. She's 69 and an avid reader of old mystery novels. For years, her hair was mid-length and always tucked behind her ears. One afternoon, after a lunch with her granddaughter, she told me she'd made a spontaneous salon stop. I saw this woman in the mirror, and she looked refined, chic, but still like me. That's how she described her first look at her new French bob. What made the difference wasn't just the length. It was the precision. The cut skimmed her jaw just right, with a slight inward curve that softened her neckline and drew attention to her cheekbones. No heavy layers, no fuss. And here's the bonus. It pairs beautifully with curtain bangs or a soft fringe, especially if you're looking to add softness around the forehead or balance a longer face. Stylist insight? The French bob works best with a clean baseline, not too choppy, not too blunt. It's all about balance and subtle shape. And if your hair has a natural wave or slight bend, even better. The cut welcomes a little movement. It's easy to style, air dries well, and somehow makes even a simple blouse feel like a fashion statement. This is one of those youthful haircuts for women over 60 that doesn't try to hide anything. It simply highlights what's already beautiful with a little Parisian grace. Style 4. The soft shag cut. If you're someone who's always had a little wave in your hair, or even just the suggestion of one, the soft shag might be the haircut your texture has been waiting for. Now, before you picture rock stars from the 70s, let me stop you right there. This isn't that shag. This is the modern, refined version, still full of personality, but softened for mature women who want movement without mess. A few months ago, I met Florence at a weekend craft fair. She was browsing handmade scarves, hair gently tousled by the breeze. She must have been around 66, and I remember thinking, her hair looks like it just belongs there. Light, lifted, lived in, and not overdone. I asked her what cut she had, and she laughed. Oh honey, it's called a shag, but I promise I don't play guitar. Then she added, it's the first haircut I've had that doesn't try to control my hair. It just works with it. That's the beauty of the soft shag cut over 60. It's made for hair that doesn't want to sit perfectly straight anymore. The layers are light, airy, and strategically placed to give the crown lift and the ends movement. If your hair is thinning a bit, especially at the top, this cut can help add volume without stiffness. And if you've got slight curls or natural texture, even better. It turns what you thought was a flaw into your hair's best feature. Stylist tip: ask for longer layers that start around the cheekbones and taper through the ends. Not choppy, but diffused. Pair it with curtain bangs or even a side-swept fringe. and suddenly your whole face feels lifted and softened at the same time. This kind of shag haircut for mature women isn't trying to make you look 25. It's helping you look like the version of yourself who smiles more freely, wears earrings again, and doesn't stress over frizz. Because sometimes the best haircuts aren't the ones that hide your age. They just stop fighting it. Style 5, the cropped cut with side-swept bangs. Some haircuts don't shout for attention. They just gently balance everything out. And that's exactly what a cropped cut with side-swept bangs does, especially for women over 60 who want a neat, fresh look without looking too done. This one's close to my heart because of a woman named Teresa, a retired teacher I met at a local bookshop. She was 70, always in earth-toned cardigans and silver hoop earrings. And she carried herself with that quiet elegance only time can teach. One morning, she walked in with a new haircut, short around the ears, clean at the nape, and these soft, side-swept bangs that grazed just below her brow. It instantly lifted her whole look. I complimented her and she smiled. It's the shortest I've gone in decades, but somehow I feel more like myself. The cropped cut with bangs for women 60 plus works wonders for a few reasons. It exposes the neckline and lifts the visual weight off the shoulders. It gently frames the forehead without cutting it in half like blunt bangs might. And most importantly, it opens up the face, especially helpful if your features have softened with age, as they beautifully do. What makes the side-swept bang so effective is its subtle diagonal. It draws the eye upward and across instead of down. This helps disguise a high forehead or soften lines around the eyes without hiding them completely. Stylist advice? Keep the bangs airy, not thick. Think of them as a veil, not a curtain. And keep the sides slightly tapered to hug the cheekbones, not box in the face. This cut is especially flattering on long or oval face shapes. It shortens the vertical line and brings attention to the center of your face. Pair it with a warm chestnut or soft gray blend, and suddenly your skin tone feels brighter too. Among all the short haircuts over 60, this one feels the most balanced. It's tidy but soft, polished yet never severe. Because at this age, we're not asking our hair to impress anyone. We're just choosing shapes that mirror who we've become. Graceful, self-assured, and just a little bit bold. So let's take a quiet moment to bring it all together. We've explored 5 short haircuts over 60, each one chosen not just for how it looks, but for how it can make you feel. Lighter, brighter, a little more you. Maybe it's the soft layers that give your face a lift without trying. Maybe it's the side-swept fringe that gently frames your eyes. Or maybe it's just the freedom of waking up, running your hands through your hair, and thinking, yes, this works. Because here's what I believe. A good haircut doesn't erase the years, but the right one, it makes them feel beautifully, completely lived in. So if one of these youthful haircuts for women over 60 spoke to you, I'd love to hear about it. Have you tried any of these styles? Or are you thinking about a change soon? Leave a comment below. Your story might be just the nudge another woman needs to try something new. And if you'd like more tips on hair, style, and everyday beauty that's made for this chapter of life, don't forget to subscribe to Glow After 60. We're here to celebrate grace, wisdom, and all the gorgeous ways we grow. Thanks for spending this time with me. I hope today gave you not just ideas, but a little permission too. See you in the next video.